JIN throws JUNGKOOK during a live broadcast. Just a joke, or the return of a bond the world thought was gone. What really happened in those 12 seconds that made millions of fans freeze, rewind, and suddenly feel like time had collapsed back to a version of BTS many believed only existed in memory? Was it merely a spontaneous joke between two members who have known each other for more than a decade, or was it something deeper? An unspoken signal that the chemistry, chaos, and emotional intimacy of BTS before 2022 had finally, unmistakably returned. On the final night of 2025, as fireworks echoed across cities around the world and timelines filled with resolutions and countdowns, 7 familiar figures sat casually on a sofa in a softly lit room decorated with a Christmas tree. There were no dramatic stage lights, no choreographed moves, no polished speeches. Yet what unfolded during that Weverse live broadcast would ripple across global social media with a force few expected, igniting nostalgia, speculation, laughter, and a wave of emotion that felt almost overwhelming. JIN suddenly threw JUNGKOOK backward over the sofa. JUNGKOOK reacted with exaggerated shock, pretending to be dizzy. JIN instantly pointed at J-Hope and joked, "It's him." J-Hope protested in confusion. RM, eyes wide, half laughing and half panicking, lamented that his sofa was barely a month old. 12 seconds. That was all it took. But why did those 12 seconds matter so much? Why did fans across continents react as if they had just witnessed something historic rather than a simple prank? And why did social media quickly fill with comments saying, "This is pre-2022 BTS finally back"? To understand the weight of that moment, one has to look beyond the surface-level humor and into the emotional timeline that BTS and their fans have shared over the past several years. Since their announcement of group hiatus activities in 2022 and the subsequent enlistment of each member into mandatory military service, BTS has existed in fragments, solo projects, individual messages, brief reunions, carefully scheduled appearances. The group never disappeared, but the version of BTS that thrived on unfiltered chaos, physical comedy, and brotherly teasing felt distant, almost preserved in archival clips rather than lived reality. That is why JIN's sudden, playful act toward JUNGKOOK did not register as mere slapstick. It felt like muscle memory. It felt instinctive. It felt like something that could only happen when people are truly comfortable with each other, when the invisible walls built by time, responsibility, and distance finally dissolve. The viral clip, first shared by fan account at jeon on X, spread at lightning speed. Within hours, it amassed more than 70,000 likes, over 9,000 reposts, and hundreds of thousands of views. But numbers alone cannot explain the emotional response. Fans weren't just laughing. They were dissecting expressions, replaying body language, and asking questions that went far beyond the sofa incident itself. Why did JIN move so naturally, without hesitation? Why did JUNGKOOK respond not with surprise, but with exaggerated playfulness, as if this kind of interaction was second nature? Why did RM's reaction feel so quintessentially leader of chaotic sons, prompting fans to joke that he already regretted hosting them? Was this really just humor, or was it evidence that the internal dynamics of BTS had remained untouched by time and separation? For longtime ARMY, JIN and JUNGKOOK's relationship has always carried a particular emotional resonance. As the oldest and youngest members of BTS, their bond has often been portrayed as a blend of teasing, protectiveness, and mutual reliance. JIN has frequently joked about being JUNGKOOK's young, while JUNGKOOK has openly spoken about how much he learned simply by watching JIN navigate life and fame. Their interactions in earlier years, whether playful wrestling, mock arguments, or affectionate banter, became staples of BTS variety content. Seeing that same dynamic reappear, unfiltered and unscripted, felt like rediscovering a familiar language after years of silence. And then there was the timing. This was not a random broadcast. It was a New Year's Eve live, marking not only the end of 2025, but also the first full year since all members completed their military service in mid-2025. Symbolically, it was a threshold moment, a goodbye to a period of waiting and a tentative step into whatever BTS would become next. Fans were already emotionally primed, scanning every word and gesture for hints about 2026. When chaos erupted on that sofa, it felt like an answer to an unspoken question. Is BTS really back, not just as a group on paper, but as themselves? The room itself added to the intimacy of the moment. The members wore casual winter clothing, thick jackets, knit hats, layers that suggested comfort rather than performance. A Christmas tree glowed softly in the background, reinforcing the sense that viewers were being invited into a private space rather than a broadcast set. This visual warmth contrasted sharply with the explosive reaction online, where hashtags like #BTS New Year Chaos began trending, including among fans in Indonesia who flooded timelines with laughter and emotional messages. "This is what we waited for," one fan wrote. "They survived the military, but the sofa almost didn't." Humor aside, media outlets quickly picked up on a deeper narrative. Headlines didn't just describe the incident, they framed it as a symbolic return. Analysts and entertainment journalists began asking whether moments like this were intentional or instinctive. Could BTS, after years of being apart, simply fall back into the same rhythms so effortlessly? Or was this proof that those rhythms had never truly disappeared? The phrase pre-2022 BTS began appearing repeatedly in fan commentary. It wasn't a rejection of the group's growth or maturity. Rather, it was a recognition of something essential that fans feared might be lost: the raw, chaotic energy that made BTS feel less like untouchable idols and more like a group of friends who happened to change the world together. JIN's playful throw seemed to unlock that energy in an instant, reminding viewers of dorm room antics, behind-the-scenes footage, and early variety shows where laughter often spiraled into chaos. RM's reaction, in particular, became a focal point of analysis. His half-exasperated complaint about the sofa, "It hasn't even been a month since I bought this," was instantly relatable and deeply familiar. Fans joked that Namjoon had once again become the responsible parent figure surrounded by unruly children. But beyond the humor, his reaction underscored something important. This was a space where he felt comfortable expressing genuine concern and amusement without filtering himself for cameras. That kind of authenticity is difficult to fake. J-Hope's mock defense, stumbling over his words as he denied responsibility, added another layer of familiarity. His expressive reactions have always been a cornerstone of BTS's group dynamic, and seeing them resurface so naturally reinforced the idea that this wasn't staged. JUNGKOOK's exaggerated dizziness, meanwhile, felt less like acting and more like a shared joke understood by everyone in the room. Could this moment be read as a subtle message to fans? Not a formal announcement, not a teaser trailer, but a reassurance delivered through laughter. We're Still Us, HYB, BTS's agency, offered no official statement regarding the incident, which only fueled speculation. Fans began asking whether the lack of clarification was deliberate. In an era where every move is often carefully managed, allowing such a chaotic, unscripted moment to dominate headlines felt almost radical. It suggested confidence, not just in BTS's public image, but in their bond with ARMY, who would understand the context without needing explanations. The nostalgia triggered by the clip also opened broader conversations about time, change, and continuity. Many fans who discovered BTS during their early years have grown alongside them, experiencing their own transitions in life. Watching JIN and JUNGKOOK joke like nothing had changed sparked reflections on personal growth and enduring relationships. If BTS could reconnect so seamlessly after years of separation and service, what did that say about the strength of shared history? Social media became a space not just for memes, but for emotional storytelling. Fans shared where they were when they watched the clip, how it made them feel, and why it mattered. Some admitted to tearing up unexpectedly, caught off guard by how deeply the moment resonated. Others analyzed the symbolism of the sofa itself, a new piece of furniture, barely a month old, already bearing the marks of BTS chaos. Was it a metaphor for a new era being immediately shaped by familiar energy? As the days following New Year's passed, discussion shifted toward what this could mean for 2026. Speculation about a group comeback, a new album, or even a world tour intensified. While no concrete details have been confirmed, moments like this have a powerful effect on fan expectations. They suggest readiness, not just logistical readiness, but emotional readiness to be together again in the ways that matter most. In Indonesia, where BTS maintains one of their largest and most passionate fan bases, reactions were particularly vibrant. Hashtags trended, fan translations circulated rapidly, and local media highlighted the incident as proof that BTS's chemistry remains unmatched. Comments emphasized how the group's humor transcends language barriers, turning a simple joke into a global talking point. From a media perspective, the virality of the clip underscores an important truth about BTS's enduring appeal. It isn't just their music, their records, or their accolades. It's the sense of authenticity, the feeling that what fans are witnessing is real. In a landscape saturated with polished content, authenticity stands out, and sometimes it takes the form of a Hyung playfully knocking his dongsing over a sofa, so is JIN throwing. JUNGKOOK, just a joke? On the surface, yes. It was harmless, funny, and fleeting. But layered beneath that humor was something far more significant, a glimpse into a bond that time, distance, and duty failed to erode. A reminder that BTS's core dynamic, the laughter, the teasing, the chaos, remains intact. As 2026 unfolds, fans will undoubtedly look back on those 12 seconds as more than just a viral clip. They may see it as a quiet turning point, a moment when uncertainty gave way to reassurance. A moment when BTS, without speeches or announcements, showed the world that they hadn't just returned, they had never truly left. And perhaps that is the real reason the clip resonated so deeply. In a world constantly moving forward, it offered a rare sensation, the comfort of something familiar, arriving exactly when it was needed most. The story did not end when the live broadcast went offline. In fact, for many observers, that was the moment it truly began. Because once the laughter faded and the clip looped endlessly across screens, a different kind of conversation emerged, quieter, more analytical, and charged with emotion. What does it mean when a group as globally scrutinized as BTS allows such an unguarded moment to define the first hours of a new year? And why did this single interaction between JIN and JUNGKOOK feel heavier than carefully planned promotions or scripted announcements? In the days following the broadcast, fans began revisiting old footage. Clips from 2016, 2017, 2018 resurfaced on timelines, juxtaposed with the New Year's Eve moment. The parallels were impossible to ignore. The same physical humor, the same exaggerated reactions, the same instinctive understanding of timing and boundaries. It was as if the years between had folded in on themselves, compressing experience and growth into a continuity that felt uninterrupted. Analysts noted that this was not regression, but preservation, the ability to evolve individually while keeping the core of a shared identity intact. For JIN, this moment carried particular symbolic weight. As the first member to enlist and the first to return, his presence has often been framed as a bridge between eras. His humor, long recognized as both disarming and grounding, seemed to set the tone for the group's reemergence. By initiating the joke, JIN was not just being playful, he was reactivating a familiar rhythm, inviting the others back into a space where laughter leads and hierarchy dissolves. JUNGKOOK's immediate, exaggerated response suggested acceptance of that invitation without hesitation. JUNGKOOK himself has undergone immense growth during the years apart, emerging as a global solo force while maintaining his identity within the group. Seeing him slip effortlessly back into the role of playful magne sparked renewed discussion about balance, how BTS members navigate individual ambition without losing collective chemistry. The answer, many fans argued, was visible in that instant. Growth had not distanced them, it had given them more to bring back. Media commentary began framing the incident as a case study in longevity. Few groups survive long enough to test whether chemistry can withstand prolonged separation, military service, and the pressures of global fame. Fewer still emerge with dynamics that feel untouched. Entertainment experts pointed out that what viewers witnessed was not nostalgia manufactured for engagement, but something far rarer: continuity of trust. Physical comedy, after all, requires a level of comfort and mutual understanding that cannot be staged convincingly. RM's reaction continued to generate discussion as well. His comment about the sofa, while humorous,